A vigil tonight remembers Alex Preddy, the man killed by federal agents in Minneapolis. Hear their message.
Taking a look at tonight's temperatures, we're still in the thick of the bitter cold. What to expect overnight.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider.
I'm Dawn Hasbrook. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls for a first check of our forecast. What do people need to know tonight and tomorrow?
Well, tonight and tomorrow, it's all going to be about blowing and drifting snow. So we're no longer concerned about the snow that's falling from the sky, but all of that snow that we picked up over the weekend. We're going to have high winds tonight, high winds tomorrow. And in the light, fluffy nature of this snow, those winds are going to pick it up and blow it around, reducing visibilities and also leading to drifting over some of our roadways. So because of that, we do have a winter weather advisory that's actually going into effect at midnight, lasting until 6 p.m. tomorrow for LaPorte County. But even for the rest of us throughout the Chicagoland area, I still think blowing and drifting is going to be an issue for us because we have southwesterly winds tonight that are going to be gusting as high as about 30 to 35 miles per hour. That's going to switch to a northwesterly wind flow tomorrow. So a lot of our north-south running roads are going to get hit pretty hard. And then tomorrow, I think it's more about the east-west running roads with the blowing and drifting. Temperatures right now, we're basically already at the lows for the night, sitting in the single digits. We are going up to around 10 to 12 degrees tomorrow morning. But don't get excited. There's not a big warm-up in store for us anytime soon. Those details coming up.
An investigation underway tonight into a snowplow driver killed in a deadly collision. It happened this morning after a Metro train struck his vehicle near the Bartlett station on the MDW line. The plow driver, who has not yet been identified, was 64 years old. No passengers on the train were hurt.
A 16-year-old teen boy is facing a terrorism charge. He's accused of plotting to commit an act of terror at the Islamic Education Center in Glendale Heights in July of last year. Prosecutors say he recorded services to assist in the preparation for planting an explosive device. The boy is due back in court August 4th.
Tonight, the local community coming out to show support for Alex Preddy, the man killed by a Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis. Dozens gathering in Arlington Heights to stand in solidarity with the Minneapolis community.
Fox Chicago's Leslie Moreno takes us there.
Arlington Heights took to the streets to honor the life of Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse that was shot and killed by federal immigration agents in Minnesota over the weekend.
They are murders. ICE is murdering people. They shot her in cold blood. They shot Alex Preddy in cold blood. He was trying to help someone.
We're at a loss for words. We've never seen anything like this in our country, and it's unspeakable.
The vigil, hosted by the Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action, is just one of many demonstrations taking place across the country. Joe Redman, a 50-year resident of Arlington Heights, braved the cold tonight to stand in solidarity with her daughter.
And I'm scared for her, and I'm scared for everyone else that's out there.
She's in Minneapolis as we speak, protesting Preddy's killing. She worries about her safety.
My daughter was downtown, and I thought was reading and I'm going to cry, what the parents of those people said about their children, and I could push myself having to do that while she's doing what's right for people.
White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt talked about the fatal shooting in Minneapolis and made clear that several federal reviews and investigations are underway.
Saturday's shooting remains under active investigation by Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI. The Customs and Border Protection is also conducting their own internal review.
At the same time, President Trump says he spoke with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and both sides described that conversation as productive as they work on how to move forward. Preddy's death has sparked grief, anger, and renewed calls for justice for so many.
Donald Trump is throwing out the Constitution and murdering people in the streets of Minneapolis.
I think immigration is a good thing, but it has to be done right, and what they're doing is not right.
Organizers say the best way people can help is by calling their members of Congress and urging them to oppose funding that supports ICE. In Arlington Heights, Leslie Moreno, Fox Chicago.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino and some agents are on their way out of Minneapolis. They could leave as soon as tomorrow. There are reports tonight that Bavino is also being removed from his position at the top of CBP, but the Department of Homeland Security is disputing that tonight. This amid mounting tensions between agents and protesters.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker speaking out against Trump's border czar Tom Homan heading to Minneapolis. The White House says Homan will be managing ICE operations in Minnesota. home in to report directly to the president. He previously worked as acting director of ICE in President Trump's first administration. Governor Pritzker taking to social media today saying, quote, sending Tom Homan to Minnesota is like pouring gasoline on a fire. The chaos is the point. Let's stop sending Trump officials in and start sending Trump's agents home.
A local nonprofit is planning to launch a new domestic violence hotline, not for survivors, but dedicated to the people who commit the abuse.
Casey Cronus has details.
When it launches, it'll be the first of its kind in the state, and experts say there is a clear need, something they noticed when the Survivors Hotline got dozens of calls last year from people harming their loved ones. That's how the Michael Reese Health Trust, based in Chicago, discovered the demand. The hotline is still in its early stages, but is being developed in partnership with the network, which leads the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline. It would be geared toward those who inflict abuse and want to change their behavior. Officials with Michael Reese say most domestic violence perpetrators don't end up getting help until they're in the criminal justice system. This would connect them with partner abuse intervention programs before that. These are voluntary programs. There are many in Cook County that offer mental health treatment, anger management, and treatment for substance use disorders. Jennifer Rosencrans says there are a couple similar hotlines that have launched in other cities like Baltimore that they are looking to as models.
Michael Reese has been engaged in addressing domestic violence for decades, and we realized that the area of working with people who cause harm was underinvested, and there was a lack of innovation in that space. The data shows that last year 200 people who cause harm called the hotline looking for services, and they can be referred to partner abuse programs, but most of those slots are for people who are engaged in the criminal justice system. I think that it's really going to provide a needed intervention where none exists to keep survivors safe.
Rosencrans says she hopes to see the hotline go live in the next year. In the meantime, Wings program, a well-known domestic violence service provider in the area, says this is one more tactic that will ultimately be beneficial to survivors. Back to you.
A parolee and his brother are now facing charges accused of selling drugs. The Cook County Sheriff's Office arrested 35-year-old Fatah Jasper and 40-year-old DeAndre Phillips in Chicago Heights last Thursday. During a check by parole agents on Jasper, they found a loaded firearm in his bedroom, along with drugs and money throughout the house. Neither man had a FOID or concealed carry license.
Chicago Reader returning to weekly publishing. The first issue will be out the 4th of February. The magazine now under the leadership of Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist Sarah Conway, who serves as editor-in-chief. The new editions will be available every Wednesday at more than 600 locations citywide.
Keep it right here on Fox Chicago.
More ahead on the news at 9.
It all comes down to preparation as well as supply and demand. And we're going to show you why these winter storms are having a snowball effect on the salt business.
Stock up with hot deals.
While crews across our area are plowing snow and treating roads to keep you safe, there's a nationwide shortage on salt.
Brett Bagansky shows you why the weather is impacting supply and demand.
It was tense because you get into, comes in by barge. Well, if the rivers are frozen, it's a challenge.
Chicago Streets and Sanitation Commissioner Cole Stollard pointed to the 2013-14 winter season as a deciding factor for why the city started stockpiling during the summer after the National Weather Service recorded 82 inches of snow that season and the city potentially running out of salt.
We sat and spent all summer and put our heads together and said, how can we ensure that this never happens again? And that magic number for us was to start the season with 420,000 tons.
So from 2014 on, Stollard told me that the city of Chicago starts off every snow season with about 420,000 tons of salt. And so far this season, the city has used about 141,000 tons of salt. So they feel like they're in good shape and they're not going to run out of any salt. However, for some area businesses, it's a much different story.
I think we knew that it was coming because the winters have been so mild in the past few winters.
Snow Systems from Wheeling tells Fox Chicago it's now paying more than double the price. It comes after it got this email from a supplier telling them it can no longer fill orders after a certain date and will not be replenishing supplies in Lamont for the season. A frozen Illinois River and Peoria Lake is impacting traffic.
They were going to have to start offloading in St. Louis. Well, it's not the price of the salt that's more, it's the cartage that's more to get it here.
That also impacts supply chains nationwide.
Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, they were pulling salt out of Chicago. I believe Michigan was as well. So we were really good on salt a few weeks ago until those markets ran out.
They aren't the only one.
There's really no more coming into Milwaukee, so we got to get salt from Chicago, and it's starting to go from other states. Even they said we could go to Kansas pick it up, but that's a little far to go.
Myron Dorshak in Milwaukee is usually paying about $110 a ton for salt. Now it's about $250 a ton. Has your company had to eat the cost because those prices have fluctuated?
Yes, we will. We're going to have to eat them significantly.
With snow totals already at nearly 29 inches at O'Hare, these companies are hoping they won't be scrambling for salt come February. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
Well, this is important for those of you who live in Joliet. IDOT is closing Ruby Street Bridge for emergency repairs. Now, this closure, we're told, is necessary. They've got to replace equipment which actually went out yesterday afternoon during the winter weather. And right now, there's no word on how long it's going to take before the bridge reopens.
Weather affects everything. Let's take a live look outside. It's beautiful tonight. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls.
It's beautiful, but still very, very cold. We have temperatures right now that are sitting in the single digits. Wind chill temperatures for a lot of us running at about 10 to 15 degrees below zero. And the winds are going to continue to ramp up tonight. That will continue through the day tomorrow. And actually, because of those high winds, believe it or not, that's why we have a winter weather advisory that's been issued for LaPorte County. So it's not so much for the snow that's going to be coming down. There is a chance that we could be seeing about an inch of lake effect, but that's really about it. It's more so about the blowing, the drifting snow that's going to be possible because of the high winds out there tonight and tomorrow. So currently, we have southwesterly winds that are gusting as high as about 25 miles per hour. That's going to increase to be about 30 to 35 miles per hour tonight. And your temperatures, we've actually already reached our lows for the overnight. That was just about an hour ago when many of us were about 1 to 2 degrees colder than what you're seeing on this map right here. But that southwesterly wind, that's already beginning to bring in some slightly warmer air. That's your key word there because it's still going to be very cold. By daybreak tomorrow, we should be waking up to temperatures right around 10 to 12 degrees, and then we're still only expected to warm up to about 14. Your current wind chills are well below zero. They will stay there tonight. And then even through the day tomorrow, wind chills aren't really expected to get much better than about 5 to 10 degrees below zero. So your 5-day forecast tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday, we only have highs that are in the mid-teens. That's significantly below average. Average for this time of the year sits right around 31 degrees. And then on Saturday, we have a slight warming trend that's going to start to take shape. So we're going to be in the 20s for Saturday, same thing on Sunday. Satellite and radar, we do have an area of snow off to our north. Most, if not all of this, is going to be passing to our northeast. I think worst case scenario, maybe a couple snow flurries. That's really about it, but no accumulation is expected tonight. Cold front's going to come through. That's why your temperatures tomorrow are really going to struggle to warm up. So in the morning, when the sun comes up, we're going to be starting off the day with temps right around 10 or 12 degrees, and then we only make it to about 14 during the day. Lake effect is going to be firing up over in Michigan mainly, but we could see some of that trying to swing its way into LaPorte County by the end of the day. So that's what we're going to be watching for. But regardless, even without any snow falling from the sky, again, we could be dealing with some blowing and drifting snow, reduced visibilities, and hazardous travel, especially in open rural areas where you have those open fields. That's where we're going to see a lot of that blowing and drifting. Futurecast then taking us into our day on Wednesday. Wednesday morning starts off dry, but then we could be seeing additional some snow going over in LaPorte County, but everywhere else, I think we're staying dry. Your 7-day forecast tomorrow, we are in the teens, mainly dry skies, partly sunny Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to see a glimpse of the sunshine, but then lake effect is going to develop Thursday into Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we'll have mainly dry skies, temps in the 20s. Here's the pic. Love this one. This was taken on Friday when we really started to see a bunch of ice developing on southern Lake Michigan. So the skyline in the background, this was taken by David. Thank you for this photo. I love it, but I also can't wait for summer.
Frame it, David.
Yes.
Hang that one up. Thanks. Could Benny the Bull be changing his number now that number 1 is hanging in the rafters? The big announcement from the mascot.
Hard to believe it's been 40 long years since the Chicago Bears last won the Super Bowl. We're looking ahead to see what their chances are. Are they any better next season?
Paris Schutz here. Coming up tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report, President Trump recalibrates in Minneapolis. Out is Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino. In is Border Czar Tom Homan. We have full reaction and analysis, plus a local TV reporter on his historic trek to the summit of Mount Everest. You won't want to miss that tonight at 10 on the Chicago Report.
Fox Tuesday, first.
With Bulls legend Derrick Rose's #1 jersey now hanging in the rafters, the team mascot Benny the Bull has a major announcement regarding his jersey number, which is also #1.
Benny, there's been a lot of speculation. Can you address the rumors about a potential number change?
What does that mean? As you saw at the press conference, Benny will be changing his number. Rose had his #1 jersey retired, meaning no one else will ever wear that number again for the team. Benny and his team have been hard at work trying to figure out a new number for him to wear. Benny debuted the new jersey number tonight. There it is. The Bulls posting this to their social media account. From now on, Benny will be wearing number 99.
Looks pretty cool. Bears run at their second Super Bowl victory is going to have to wait at least another year. 40 years ago today, the '85 Bears, the legendary Bears, beat the Patriots, walloped them 46-10, winning their first and only Super Bowl. And while at times this season felt like the Bears might be a team of destiny in the first year of head coach Ben Johnson, we asked FS1's Danny Parkins, how close were they to actually playing on the final Sunday?
The biggest thing for the Bears is how big of a leap does Caleb take? Like, is Caleb still inconsistent, or is he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Like, does he take a Patrick Mahomes in year 2, Lamar Jackson type of leap, year 2 in Ben Johnson's system, year 3 in the league? If he takes a leap like those guys, then you can afford a few fewer takeaways and a few more injuries because you've got an MVP caliber quarterback.
You can catch that full conversation with Danny Parkins on CST right after we're done at 9:30. You can also catch the show at 6 p.m. every day on Fox Local. Tina Nguyen also catching up with CHSNS's Casey Johnson to recap Derrick Rose's aforementioned jersey retirement. There's also the big upcoming NBA trade deadline to discuss. Well, let's keep it on the hard courts because tonight, Modest Buzelis has been selected to the 2026 Rising Stars game for NBA All-Star Weekend on Friday, February 13th. It's his second consecutive selection to the event. The native of Chicago, just the 9th Bulls player to earn 2 Rising Star selections. Also of note, there will be no four-peat for Windy City Bulls player Mac McClung as dunk champ. Reports indicate he won't compete this year. He won the last 3. He's currently averaging more than 23 points in 11 games with the Windy City Bulls, Chicago's G League affiliate. Well, it was a winter wonderland across the Chicago area this past weekend.
Some animals at Lincoln Park Zoo took advantage of the conditions to have some fun. Next.
Sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local experts.
Trending now, the ponies at the Lincoln Park Zoo taking advantage of the weekend weather to have some fun. You see them running around their snow-covered enclosure. That's, again, Lincoln Park Zoo.
So cute. That's what my dog looked like this morning. Yesterday morning, going crazy. Yeah. Perfect snow for it, too. All right, 7-day forecast for you. Tonight, we are looking at low temperatures. But guess what? They already occurred. So it's only up from here, everybody. So tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up to temperatures right around 10 or 12 degrees. But then the catch is that we're not going to warm up all that much. So 14 degrees is your high tomorrow, which, by the way, it's better than we did today. So we'll take what we can get at this point. 15 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday, partly cloudy, but then we'll start to see some lake effect developing later in the day. That will continue into Friday. Temperatures all week remain very cold in the teens. We're in the 20s this weekend. There's a chance that we could be seeing some light snow come through on Sunday. There's not a lot of agreement through the models with that yet, but something to watch. We could be seeing some light snow again on Sunday.
All right, thank you, Emily. Thanks for watching us tonight. Remember, you can catch us anytime on your smart TV. It's Fox Local. We're on all the streaming platforms. Always start your day with Good Day Chicago at 4:30. CST is straight ahead.
Think about the best night's sleep